everyone, this is Bev from Art by Bedell. I have a little different journal to share with you today than what I'm used to making. This is a 3-ring binder and it is from Recollections, and it's a mixed media canvas album journal, binder journal. It has 90 pages in it. The cover has been stained with some distressed oxide inks and some collage put on it. It has some gold embossing put on it. And then the ephemera that I've used throughout the journal is from Veriepear, and she had the old handwritten notes and the vintage handwritten postcards. Art Craft Prints had the blue flowers, set number 3. Oneida Blue had vintage birds. Weathered Textured had vintage postcards, French postcards. And Souveniredita France had some French documents. Labels are by my Porch Prints and Shabby, Dabby, Doodah. So there we go. There's the back of it. And it has a ton of vintage lace and crocheted doilies and lots of goodies inside. In the front, I have my typical page that has a pocket with a library card in it. And then we have this journal has some plastics pages. It has some black pages and then craft colored paper for journaling on. So here's some of our lace, and this is one of the plastic pages. We have a little flower here with an antique button here. And inside, a lot of these cards are journaling cards, and they're from the kits that I just listed. And then over here is some crocheted doily. And inside, of course, you're going to see another journaling card. So it has a lot of pockets, tuck spots, and journaling cards in it. The craft paper has been stenciled with a fern stencil with vintage photo oxide ink. And then it's been watermark stamped with Versamark. And then splattered with some white paint. And every now and then there's a page that has some lace sewn onto the edge of it. And then this is one of the black pages that came with the book, and it has a pocket on it. And another kit that I used was a color box for the papers. The digitals were all ephemera. The papers were a color box kit. And there's 2 pockets here. And over here, this page these are 2 pieces of tea bags and sandwiched in between them, and I think I used gold matte gel, and I put a flower that I had pressed from here. Then we have these little crocheted flowers here too. Some more of the craft paper for journaling on. This is another of the plastic papers, and it has a handkerchief, a vintage handkerchief sewn onto this one. And the bag here is a glassine brown bag with a journaling card inside. And we have some vintage ledger paper, and that's real. That's a real deal. Over here, another crocheted doily with a vintage button. And then inside here is some of the French documents. And I made it so that you can journal on the back of that. And that goes inside this pocket. More of our craft paper for journaling on, the lace. And then we're back to a black piece. And this has paper, they're paper flowers. I had colored them with the ink, distress inks, oxide inks, and then embossed the edges of them. This is another vintage button with just some fibers here and some cheesecloth underneath. This is some packaging here. And then inside the pocket, we have a mini journal with some vintage buttons along the side. And the same fern and the same watermark effect on this, so it matches the rest of the journal. It's inside there. On the back side of this, we have an envelope that is a patience chart. Yeah, I think it was like for keeping the money or whatever that they would get from the patient that day. Something, I don't know, because it had like charges and amounts and different things on it. Inside is a faux postcard that came from the French kit. Original ledger paper here, and some lace and cheesecloth. More of the craft paper. Another of the plastic pages. This one has some lace that was coffee stained here, and it has a book page pocket that opens up, and it has a tag inside. On the back side, we have another doily. I don't think this one's vintage, but it's a doily, and it's not hand crocheted either. This is ledger paper that I had done the mommy-gami technique on, where you crumple it all up. You have coconut oil on your hands and you crumple it all up and knead it. It's called kneading the paper. And then I colored it with vintage photo ink. This is one of my flowers. I do believe there's still some of those on the Etsy page. They're stenciled flowers. And that flips open so that there's a little bit of writing room here. And this is, again, a vintage piece of ledger paper that I crumpled up. I really like the effects of that mommy-gami. And more journaling room. Another black folder, a page here with a pocket on it, and some more ephemera. In each one of them, you can journal on the back. This is more of that kneaded paper here, only it was just a piece of coffee stained copy paper. Back here we have this lace here. I don't know that that's vintage, I'm not sure. And then this pocket, if you watch Be Reborn, Cara Renee, she just did a video on this pocket. Now I had done these pockets before and made them so that they were glued to the page, and then they all opened up so that you could journal on the inside. This one I have closed, like what she showed that she did. And some lace and birds. And here's some more of the journaling paper. And another plastic one. Now with this doily, I have taken it and made a belly band out of it and added some more vintage buttons on it. And inside the belly band is another faux French postcard for journaling on the back of that. It's got some lace on it. This has a vintage crocheted doily sewn on here. And then a little journal card here. More craft paper, another piece of black with the pocket. The pocket was already on the black paper. I just embellished it with different pieces of paper and lace and cheesecloth. On the back side of that black one, we have an envelope that flips out like this, and inside the envelope is a card that you can journal on. More of the craft paper. And then we're to the back of the journal. And on the back of the journal, I have some, this was something that I bought at a flea market or whatever, and it had lace on it, and I ripped it off, and so I put it on here. And this has a tuck spot with a piece of coffee stained copy paper on it that you can journal on. That completes this nice little journal, guys. There's the back to it. So if you're interested, it's available, and it will be on my Etsy page for you. So thank you for watching, and you have a great day. We'll see you again soon. Bye now.